Good morning. Welcome to Morning Java, brought to you as always by our friends at the Get Go Cafe and Market, where they are offering curbside service. You just pull up in your car, order on your app, and they bring it out to you. Which app is that again, Taylor?
It's the Giant Eagle app. So not, look up Gecko, you look up Giant Eagle. Yeah, you connect like your Fuel Perks account, you get all the benefits, and then they bring it out to your car.
Yeah, can't beat that for service. We actually did this just the other day. My son and I went there. Let's talk about hockey because we are this close to actual, semi-organized hockey. The Edmonton Oilers put out a picture from their practice facility up there next to Rogers Place of 5 skaters on the rink. And it's something. They had Edmonton uniforms on. They were passing the puck around. The Penguins are supposed to be doing this on Tuesday up in Cranberry. No media, no fans, none of that sort of thing here, but we're getting closer, aren't we?
Yeah, Monday is the start date that the NHL had, and then other teams are having their own dates to open this week. But I think all teams are scheduled to skate this week. Yeah, but it's just small groups. You can't have more than 6 people on the ice at one time. So just very informal. They can't be near each other. You can't have team employee coaches on the ice with them. So it's really just gonna be a lot of skating drills, and it's kind of like the informal skates they have before training camp. Normally, like the captain's skates. It's really just that, but just very small.
It's small. It's excessively careful. I'm watching my language here, okay? Because all of these players and all of these individuals and all of these staffers are already being tested before they enter this facility, which has been, whichever facility it happens to be, whether it's Edmonton, Cranberry, whatever, has been cleaned to an extreme extent. And then they go out there on the ice and they're being told to stay apart. Now, it doesn't matter. For like what you're saying here, for this phase, it doesn't matter because all they're doing is wind sprints. They're going to be skating. They're going to be doing a little bit of, passing and whatever else. They're not going to be bumping into each other, but they wouldn't be anyway. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I can't let this go without commenting here that this is being done through an abundance of not just caution, but I'll say it, optics. It's just optics. They want to make it look like it's a lot safer than it needs to be. These same people, when they're done, are going to go grocery shopping and everything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, but going out grocery shopping, all that is probably why it's a good idea for them at least to limit it for now. And because they're not testing every single day, they're testing twice a week to start. Everyone had to be tested right this weekend.
Yes.
And then they're doing
the Penguins were supposed to be getting tested on Monday, right?
They got tested Sunday.
Sunday.
And then they got
Monday is something else. So there's some kind of other I don't know if it's a physical or something like that, but they have something else going on Monday.
Physicals. So if they test negative, then they have to have a second, like a normal physical, like you would have at the start of training camp, just because they've been away from the ice for so long. And then only twice a week since then. But I mean, guys are going home, living their lives. They're not in like a hub city. They're not in hotels being quarantined yet. So I mean, that's why it's a good idea to at least keep everyone separated now, and then even then, with the testing, one false negative could screw up the whole thing. So until we get to like a hub city situation where they're locked down in their hotels and they're not going out to grocery stores and being around their family who's also going out to restaurants, I think I don't have a problem with like the measures they're taking now.
Unless it changes, and it seems to change constantly with different news. Now, as mentioned, fans aren't allowed, media aren't allowed, which means Taylor and I won't be there. Dave Molinari won't be there. We're not even allowed on the premises, meaning on the parking lot. And yes, we're going to do that. At least, it's just, you got to do what you got to do.
About it.
Yeah, right. I mean,
it's mainly to prevent fans from lining up and getting autographs, that kind of thing. But yeah, we can't camp out in seats coming in.
Yeah, we could do a roll call or whatever, just trying to do our jobs. But that's come from the NHL, not from the Penguins. And at the same time, we are hungry for news, just as you are hungry to find out information about your favorite team. Taylor, what will qualify as news during this period? I mean, is it just roll call stuff? I mean, and we really don't even know how we'll get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. You might see teams, the PR people just putting out, these guys skated today. Or I don't know. You'll probably see guys on social just posting about being back on the ice because, it's been so long. I don't know. I mean, that would be news to me, just to get an idea of who's back in town, because we really don't know. I know some teams that, like, I was listening to, like Vegas has pretty much everyone still there. The Penguins, most guys did go home, so it would be notable to see who came back, especially like the Europeans. I know Rico went home to Finland. Is he able to get back into the country yet? I mean, that would be news to me if we see Rico skating.
Yeah, anybody that comes from overseas, that makes it from overseas, I think that qualifies as news. I don't know where, for example, Patrick Hornqvist went, but I would presume that he would have been one of those guys that went back to Sweden. And they have to go through additional testing, of course, depending on when they return to the United States. There's also provisions about flying commercially versus flying on private planes. Just reading off of social media and the picture that Evgeny Malkin appeared to take of himself the other day coming back, the one with the big glasses.
Coming back from Miami, yeah.
Coming back from Miami, what I was going to say, though, is you look in the background, and that looks like an extremely small aircraft. So I'm guessing that it was a private plane, which means he would be cleared, theoretically, faster than somebody who flew commercially. This kind of stuff, I mean, we're going to be looking for whatever we can, but ultimately, though, what we really want is, how does Jake look? You know what I mean? It's stuff like that. It's like, does Jake look like he can get a slap shot off with that shoulder? He's not going to take contact, obviously, since you're not even allowed to be near somebody, but how does he look? That kind of stuff. And from my standpoint, among other things, that's going to be frustrating. I mean, we want to get in there. We want to do the reporting. And I don't know how much we'll be able to do that, but specifically on issues like that really, really matter to this franchise.
Yeah, because stuff like that, we're not going to see videos, because if you look at like the list of people the NHL is allowing in the building to start, like, you're not going to have like the team PR social staffs in there putting up, like, they can't, they're even limiting like the number of like athletic
Taylor, they might not be employed currently. Don't forget that.
Yeah, I mean, it's different.
You know what I'm saying?
Different teams around the league.
Every team is in a different situation, and some teams, including the Penguins, might not have their video people, their social media people currently on the payroll. So that's another thing that you got to throw in.
Yeah, so the only way we'll see Jake is if, he posts a video himself, but then
like
I don't know,
GoPro,
that's not gonna
right?
happen. Yeah, like that, or if he has like someone there, I don't know, take a video of him. But yeah, so we're probably not gonna like see Jake skate for a long time. But I mean, yeah, there's guys like that around the league, guys coming back from injury that people want to see. It's not just him and the Penguins.
Yeah, and there's also got to be an awareness, I hope, on the Penguins' part, on the NHL's part, that their fans really, really want to see them, need to see them. There's a benefit to that, not just for their own business purposes, but I think also, I don't mean to overstate this, but also from a mental health standpoint, people want to see normalcy, and in Pittsburgh, sports are normalcy.
Yeah, I mean, you saw Malkin was in his backyard shooting a basketball over the weekend, and that was like, okay, he's back, he's working out.
Yeah, right.
Any little thing like that is really news.
Yes. Now, you and I definitely agree that Matt Murray will be starting game 1 against Montreal, I think, right?
Yeah.
Is there anything that can happen, barring an injury, in training camp, or whatever passes for training camp, or whatever passes for exhibitions or scrimmages that the Penguins will have that could change that? Could you picture any scenario in which they go, man, Jari's just been so sharp and Murray's really struggling right now, and they would say, you know what, we're going to go with the other guy here?
No, I mean, I don't.
No.
in training camp, like, if we're talking about game 1, who's going to go in game 1, I don't think there's anything that'll happen in a training camp that'll change that. I mean, you look at what's happening at the end of the regular season. Most of the regular season they were going back and forth. No one was getting like back-to-back starts, and then towards the end is when they started to stick with Murray, multiple games in a row, and it's they were preparing, I think, for the playoffs. because Murray was going to be the guy in the playoffs. So I think he'd be the guy in the playoffs until if he has like a bad game or two.
Or two, yeah, but not more.
No.
I think we can agree on that too. If he has 2 bad games, he's not starting game 3.
No, because Jari's obviously a capable guy. He could be a starter too. He was, starter for a good bit of the regular season. Yeah, if Murray struggles the first game or two, and I'd put Jari in.
I'm not even sure that I believe in what I'm about to say here, but just to play devil's advocate here, just for fun. Coaches do pay attention to training camp drills. Coaches do pay attention to practices. They do pay attention to scrimmages. And this will be a training camp and a set of scrimmages or exhibitions or whatever they end up doing here that'll literally be unlike anything in hockey history, unlike anything in sports history, in that their next game is game 1. And I could see Mike Sullivan, with his temperament, entering that camp. Picture this now. And we ask Sullivan, who's your starting goaltender for game 1? Since that's the next game, and he's going to give the standard, game time decision, whatever, right? But I have a hard time fathoming that Sullivan and his assistants, and even Jim Rutherford, the old goaltender himself, would be watching this training camp with a completely ambivalent eye. In other words, if Murray doesn't look locked in, if he doesn't look focused, and I think he actually will be, so I'm not being cynical here about Murray. I'm just saying, if that were to happen, that maybe they wouldn't start pushing some kind of alarm bells in the final week. You know what I'm saying? And say, hey, look, Matt, you need to get it together here. I mean, you're our guy, but you don't have to be our guy.
He'd have to look really bad in training camp he'd have to look, because what you're talking about is, where training camp can influence those decisions. I think that's right with lines. If we have, a couple of days where the training camp drills, then Zucker and Gensel just don't look good together on Sid's line, then I think, that is a situation where training camp is where we would, switch things up, because we would see their chemistry. But I don't know what a goalie could do in just a camp.
It wouldn't be easy. It wouldn't be easy. Matt Murray's going to start game 1.